So just in case you're joining us in the middle of nowhere, this is the third in a video of a sequence of whatever we're doing, but basically the idea is we're going to have some text, and we're looking for the last name written in the text. So this one would be Aaron, this one would be Lulu, because Lulu's the last person who had it, and stuff like that. So that's what we're trying to do, but we're trying to automate this process because this process is really painful and we don't want to have to do it by hand. So this is what we have working so far. We've got it working for exactly one cell, and we know what the last row is. So actually, there's not a whole lot more exciting left to do. What we're going to do is, we know we're going to start at line 2, and we're going to go to line last row, whatever that last row happens to be. So that means that if you're thinking in your head, if I know in advance exactly how many times I want to do something, you should be thinking of a for loop. So I'm going to put a for loop outside this existing for loop. So right here, where it says kitty, this is not helpful. No, it doesn't say that. I say that to my kitty. We have my text defined. So rather than defining my text as a specific thing, I'm going to take that all the way down to the bottom basically, and all of that is going to go inside the for loop. Rather than hitting tab on all these, I'm just going to totally left align what I'm doing here. So again, I'm going to do a for loop, and so I'm going to go with a current row, which again I have to define. No, I have to define as an integer. All right, so I want to go for current row going from 1, not 1, it starts at 2 to the last row. All right, I want to do stuff, and then I'm going to come all the way down, and remember I'm going to say next. All right, so I'm going to throw all of this into the for loop. Now, there's a couple of ways that we do this in other programming languages, and this is, again, this isn't something you're just going to know off the top of your head. This is something that you're going to deal with having to figure out over a long period of cussing at your computer and looking up stuff on Google. But essentially what we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, so instead of row C3, I'm going to do C and the current row. No kitty. So I'm going to start with C, and the current row is going to be my text. And I'm going to pretty much have this exact same thing. So C and the current row here. I only had that selected so you could kind of see it happening. Kitty. So we don't really need that anymore. I'm going to comment it out. So if you want to watch, you can, but I don't want to watch. I also, I'm going to tell you this right now, I do not want to see the message box every time it goes through this. So I'm pretty confident that it's working. So I'm going to comment out all my message boxes, and if it turns out that something's not working, I can uncomment them out later. All right, so C3 current row, and then the only other one I need to finish is D and the current row, like that. So I'm gonna save, and I'm gonna cross my fingers, and I'm gonna hit play. And then it doesn't look like anything happened, but again, I'm gonna go over here and look at that. It is beautiful, and it's amazing, and it's done, and I'm so excited about life in general. So yay, that was super fast. Now I can do all kinds of stuff with this. I can add the department. So maybe I have different people with different departments. This is a super easy thing to add in because I've already got this kind of functionality where I'm looking for the search string. So I can really just add the department. So Titus is apparently in development. And so these guys are all in development. And this one is in some other thing, marketing. This guy's in marketing. Lulu's also in marketing. And then deployment. All right. So I can now, if I find that someone is, if I'm updating the current row with the search string, I could also update the next column. So the next column would be D. I can't spell. And again, I'm just hitting tab to make that happen with the department. Thank you. I don't like, it doesn't let you, or it does let you, but it gets mad if you click off before you finish. See, even if I try to make it touch the equal sign and I move away, it auto formats it for me. This isn't going to work yet because I haven't actually declared department as string. Okay, but now that I have that in there, that was all it took to go in and I hit run again. Oh, it's on the wrong thing. It didn't work because it was on the wrong. Let me go ahead and show you how to do that because I was on the wrong tab. I'm pretty sure it's just sheets. So I'm going to put this right at the beginning. Sheets, and it's called raw data select. No, maybe. I don't know why it's not letting me do this automatically, but there we go. All right, so now I'm on the wrong sheet, but let's see what happens when I go to the right sheet. All right. Yes, see, it automatically switched over, and now everything is in there. And I can just call this department. Now there's all kinds of things that you can do with this, which I won't get into here because this is plenty, but you could, for example, create a macro that also sorts it, and actually this is a lot easier than you think. I'll just show you this right quick. You don't necessarily have to do this part, yeah, actually, let's go ahead and do it for real. So let me show you how to do this. So you probably know in real life that you can come in here and you can just hit sort A to Z and it'll sort it for you. But you can make that be part of your, whatever you call it, you can make it be part of your project as well. What you can do is you can just go ahead and click this button to record the macro. And it doesn't matter what we call it. So I'm going to come over here, I'm going to click cell D2, and I'm going to sort, actually let's sort by development, by department first, and then we'll sort by the responsibility. So now everything's listed and I can stop the macro. Now you'll see that I actually might even have, if I've closed Excel and reopened it, which I have, I'll have 2 modules, and here's the extra macro. So actually this is the macro that sorts it. And so I don't have to know how to code any of this. I can literally just copy this and paste it. So make sure that you're not copying the end sub part, just copy this part. And I'm going to copy it. And I'm going to come down here into module 1, here. And just after everything's done, then I'm going to have it sort. Okay, so what I would recommend you do to test it is go ahead and delete all this stuff and then kind of like mess it up, like unsort it, like you could sort it by this or something like that, just to kind of get it back out of order, and get off the screen and all that kind of stuff. Okay, and so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to come over here and I'm going to run this. And if I look over there, look, now it is totally, amazingly, wonderfully sorted. I'm not really sure why I sorted by department in first and this, but oh well, I did it because it made me happy, I guess. What's cool about this is then you could actually send this. You could, if you had different kinds of data, you could automate subtotals. You can actually set it up where it would copy this and then create a sheet called Aron and then do this and create a sheet called Kamari. Instead of just creating sheets, you can create entire Excel files. So like when I did this as my job, I had it actually go and create, there were like 32 people like doing this stuff. And like it would create 32 Excel files and then it would automatically generate emails to send the emails to them of like, here's the stuff you have. So there's really no limit. Now what makes it super powerful is if not only can you write the code, if you never have to look at the code again. So let's just add one more kind of a fun thing. So go to this developer tab, which we set up at the beginning of those videos a while ago on video 1. So you're going to insert, and this should look kind of like the GUIs in Excel. I can't remember if I went form controls. I think I went form controls. And I'm going to put in a button. And whenever, so I'm going to do that again because that doesn't look like I did anything. Okay. So I'm going to go to Insert, Form Control. And you see how I've got like that little plus sign cursor? I'm going to do this. And it's going to say, oh, what macro do you want to associate with this button? And I'm going to say I want the stuff one because that's the one that has all the stuff in it. And now I have this button. I can change the name and I can make the button be click here. And then I click off of it. And see, I can click the button. Now, if you don't like where the button is, click design mode and maybe not. Maybe you're just going to be that way. Maybe. I'm not really sure why it's being obnoxious for me, but you can right click it and move it. I'm not, like I said, I think it normally does it. I'm not sure what I've done to make it mad. But whatever I've done to make it mad, it's just what's happened. Yeah, it's just not happy right now. So you should be able to click design mode and get to click on it. In any case, this isn't nearly exciting as the fact that I'm going to undo all my changes. I'm going to take off the sort, I'm going to unsort it or resort it a different way, delete this. And now, instead of me having to go into the thing and run the code, I can give this to my boss or to someone else and be like, here, you run it. And they're like, I don't know how it works. You can be like, there's a big button that says click here. And then they click the click here button and all the work is done for them. So, and it also looks just kind of cool. You can't Control Z back to the way it was. So if you do want to run it again, just to kind of check and make sure it's working, again, you just have to kind of mess up the sorting. Oh, no, don't sort that thing, sort that part. Oh gosh, it's doing the dumb thing again. So this is again a place where Control right and Control down come into play. There we go. So again, I can just say click here and it's working. So if you're lucky, if you've got everything the way you want it, you can tell, you can do kind of a spot check and make sure that the right people are associated with what they're supposed to be associated with, that you have a functional button and that things are sorted. And once you got that working, you're good to go. You got all kinds of opportunities and possibilities from here.